Good morning. It's been a while, right? Life sometimes has a way of just routing you in a different direction and not asking for your permission. My husband developed a serious illness that caused him to be in the hospital for several weeks. We're on a better trajectory now, so I'm back online for some yoga Monday and Friday, 7. Wednesdays I'm not doing yet. I'm kind of keeping the Wednesdays open, but back to 7 a.m. Monday and Friday. I missed being here. I'll see how this goes. Meet me on your mat. We're actually going to start out lying down in whatever way is comfortable for you. And perhaps bring one hand to the belly and one in the direction of the heart, but in a way that you're comfortable. So don't lift up the elbow and exert muscles in the arms. Just find a place for your hands to be. And notice the breath. When you're lying on your back, it's a little easier to just naturally fall into a diaphragmatic breath. So feel the gentle rise and fall of the belly. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Take a few breaths just to notice sensations in the body. Physical sensations, the sensation of energy, even the mind. What have you brought with you today? Welcome it all. Taking 2 more breaths. Maybe make those breaths a little deeper. And line your legs up now with your hips. So Supta Tadasana, mountain pose on your back. So imagine you're in mountain pose, but we're lying on our back. Draw your right knee into your chest. Grab the knee with your hands and then pull the knee more towards your armpit. Draw the thigh close and breathe. What sensations do you notice now in that right hip? Keep both feet active, keep the feet flexed. Now open the right knee more to the right. Maybe you're just cradling the knee in the right hand. You can take that left hand and place it on the left thigh, just reminding that hip, that low back to stay down, stay put. Now let's take the left hand and pull the right knee across the body. Let the right arm just lie down on the floor. Take the gaze over to the right. And breathe. And come back to center. Now take the hands behind the right knee and start to just gently straighten and bend the leg. Wake up the hamstrings and play with this a bit. Hamstrings are maybe tight from sleeping, so coax them into waking up and stretching. Now circle your thigh right above your knee and push down on the thigh bone, the femur, as you press up through the right heel. And pause, like you're circling a tree trunk. Drive that femur deep down into the hip socket. And then open the right leg out to the right. With the leg extended long, take that left hand to the hip. And then back up and over. Let's see if we can keep the legs straight and reach over to the left. Feel the twist in the spine and the breath. And then right back up to center. and place both legs out onto the mat. Notice now left and right, similarities, differences, and let's take all this to the left. Now draw the left knee in, nice and tight, and then slide it more towards the armpit. Keep that thigh tight, both feet are flexed. Breath is still in the belly. Feel that sensation. The inhale presses the belly into the thigh. And as you exhale, there's a little more space for the thigh. Take the knee in the left hand and open it to the left. You take that right hand to the right hip, right thigh, reminding the low back to stay put. Now drawing the knee across the body. Feel the twist, that spiral. Breathing all the way down to the tailbone and back to the center. Lace the hands behind the knee and then work to stretch the back of the left thigh and feel into that. A nice mindful stretch, nothing forced. Bring awareness to the sensations back here. Now see if you can open the extended leg to the left. Right arm just lays out on the floor. Take the gaze out there, or you can take the right hand to the hip if you need to remind the low back to stay put. And then back to center, and let's guide the leg across the body to the right and gaze to the left. Breathe. And then back to center, circle the femur right above the knee and push down, drive that bone down into the hip as you reach through the heel. Check in on that right foot. Is it still flexed, still lined up with the hip? And draw both knees into the chest, Apanasana. And curl. Bring the knee and the nose towards each other. Breathe. Drop your shoulders out of your ears. And let's rock up to boat. So roll up the length of the spine into Navasana. Your hands can be behind your knees, or maybe release and hold. Breathe. Now bend the knees and reach out for your big toes. We'll try to stay balanced on the sit bones. Lifting up into a kind of sort of balanced Baddha Konasana. Maybe straightening the legs out long and wide, balanced Upavista Konasana. Breathe. We'll come into Sukhasana with the right shin in the front. I'm going to turn and face you now. So pause here. Inhale your arms up high. Exhale, hands right down the center of the body. Tip the pelvis forward and then move only from the hip creases as you work your way into a forward fold. Keep the hands on the floor, keep the arms lifted, and push the hands away. Now the back rounds a bit. Feel that nice stretch. Walk the hands to the right, push the hands away. You can even take the left hand and stack it on top of the right. Keep the sit bones anchored. Feel that nice stretch in the left low back and the left ribs. Now walk the hands to the left, same thing. Push the floor away, feel that push the sit bones down, heart melts towards the floor. Take the right hand and stack it on the left. And breathe into the right body. Now walk the hands forward and see if you can roll up. Just kind of drag those hands as you round up to Sukhasana. Now switch the cross of the legs. Arms up. Exhale, take the right hand down to the mat, reach up and over with the left. Push that left sit bone down, take the gaze under the left arm. And breathe into the left ribs. And inhale up, over to the left. Same thing here, look under the right arm. You're reaching and rooting down with the right sit bone at the same time you're reaching up and out with the right fingertips. Inhale up. Exhale, hands home to the heart. Meet me in table. Hands and knees. Let's go through a few cat-cow. So make sure the wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Start with the neutral spine. And then try to start this movement with the tailbone. Moving one vertebrae at a time, dropping the belly, feeling the heart come forward between the gate of the arms, and then lift the gaze last. And coming into flexion or cat, start with the tailbone, keep the gaze lifted, and feel that ripple moving up towards the shoulders to the neck, and then finally the gaze comes down last. Let's do one more of those each way, moving initially with the tailbone, working from the bottom to the top. Giving each vertebrae time to move on its own. A little time in the limelight. Tuck your toes. Find down dog. And let's wiggle and squirm and find space. Find sensation. Down dog, such a good pose to wake up everything. You can move around and find space that you didn't know was available. Plant your feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees a lot. On your next inhale, lift your sit bones straight up and reach your heels down. Press the hands into the mat and then push the mat away. Breathe, let the head hang. Feel the breath up and down the spine, way down into the hips. Now lift your right leg back and up. Three-legged dog. Bend your knee and stack your hips. Then shift awareness to the shoulders. They want to twist too. Don't let that happen. Press more through the right arm now. Squaring the shoulders to the mat, but stacking the hips. Breathe. Now square the hips. And we're going to shift forward into a three-legged plank, touching right knee to right elbow. And back up, three-legged dog. That was one. We're going to do 3, 2, and 3. This time, step your foot to the outside of the right hand. So way up there. I kicked my left leg back a little longer because I'm going to drop that knee. I want to end up in a nice deep stretch for the hip flexors on the left. Now shift over to the left hand. Take the right hand to the right knee, coming into a little bit of a twist here. Now take the right hand thumb down, take a half bind, really open through the chest. And then maybe you bend that left knee. Maybe you reach back for the ankle. Nice deep stretch through the quads of that left leg. Whew, intense. Now don't drop that forcefully. Drop the shin. We're going to float it back down. And take both hands once again on the inside of the right foot. Blocks can be useful here, or maybe you drop down to the forearms. You can turn the right toes out, even let that right knee open a bit to make some space in the hip. Breathe. And come back onto the hands. Keep the right foot out wide. We're going to walk up onto the knee on the left, coming into kind of a modified runner stretch. So you can kind of see how I've straightened my leg, but the leg's not in line with the hip. It's a little wider. Now put your hands where you need to. Lift and lengthen through the spine, and then folding by moving only at the hip. And breathe. And come forward again, but heel toe the right foot in line with the hip. Now tuck the toes of the left, and we're going to lift up into a lunge. Make sure the feet are on railroad tracks. Hands to heart center when you arrive. Shoulders are heavy. Now bring the hands and arms into goddess, goalpost. I'm going to drop my left knee. 3, 2, 1. As I exhale, frame the right foot. Step back in three-legged dog again, lifting the right leg back and up. Float that leg down, come to down dog. Feet planted underneath the hips. Drop your knees. Sit back in child's. Knees can be wide or lined up with the hips. Extended child's pose with the arms long, or bringing the arms and hands alongside of the shin. What feels better for you? 2 more breaths. And back to table. Let's do 3 more cat-cow, this time a little faster. So inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. 2 more, inhale. And exhale, last one. Really notice the sensation in the hips and in the shoulders. Neutral spine, tuck the toes, down dog. Lift the left leg back and up. Bend the knee, stack the hips. Square the shoulders. Pause and hold. Now square the hips. We're going to bring left knee up and tap left elbow 3 times. That's 1, 2, and 3. Step it wide. Left foot to the outside of the left hand. I'm going to scoot back a little longer with that right leg. Then drop the knee. I want a nice stretch in the hip flexors. The hip flexors on the right side, but the hip extensors on the left. You can turn the left toes out. Shift over to the right wrist. Take the left hand to the left knee. Twist the heart to the left. Maybe you can sink a little deeper into this. Take that left hand, back of the hand to the low back, coming into a half bind. And maybe you bend the right knee, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Ooh, that's a stretch. Now float the shin down, square the shoulders with the mat, and come down into a lizard. Blocks under the forearms are good. And if coming down there is just not in the cards for you, you can walk the hands a little forward until you find a place where you'd like to stay. breathe. And come up onto the hands again. We're going to shift back into that runner's lunge with the left leg wide or wider. Now lengthen through the spine and then fold forward. Now heel toe the left foot in front of the hip. Tuck the toes of the right foot. Make sure you're on railroad tracks, and we're going to lift up into a lunge. Smooth the ribs, so don't over arc the back. Bend that knee, and we're going to tap. You can tap the mat if you want. I'm just going to head in that direction for 3 times. That was 1, 2, and 3. Exhale, frame the foot. Step back and plank. I'm going to turn so I'm facing the camera. Now drop your knees. And with control, bring the chest to the mat. Tuck your chin as you come down here. Keep the hands right next to the armpits. Let's do some rolling baby cobra. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. On an inhale, lift. Keep the low ribs on the mat. And as you exhale, come down. Let's do 4 more. One more. And release into crocodile. Stack the hands, separate the legs. Forehead can rest on the back of the hands. Bend the knees. And windshield wiper positions. And then float those shins down again. And for the next 5 breaths, the exhale is releasing any tension we're storing in the body. Let it all go. Nice cleansing. Deep inhale. Full exhale, perhaps even through an open mouth as you exhale. Let it go. Last one. Now bring the legs together, hands by the armpits, tuck your toes, push into plank, and then down dog. Right leg back and up. Step it forward between the hands. Externally rotate the back leg. We're going to come up in a warrior 2. So reach back long with the left leg. And find your warrior 2. Take your hands to your hips and scoop the tailbone a bit. Soften the ribs. It's easy to arc the back. Line the shoulders up over the hips. Arms out long. Gaze down the right fingertips. Check out your right knee. Should be tracking right down the center of the foot and over the ankle. Flip the left palm. Drop it down the left leg as you reach up with the right arm. As you rise back up, straighten the front leg. So the right leg. Check out the shoulders, check out the hips. We're going to reach until you can't reach any further and come into triangle. So let that right hand find its spot. Now take the left hand and drop it down towards the mat, even squaring your shoulders with the mat, like you're pulling a bowstring now. Open up into triangle. I take the gaze down to the foot, the right foot. Bend into the right knee. We're going to cartwheel up into warrior two. Take the hands to the hips. Turn so you're on the ball of the foot in the back, coming back to a lunge. Soften these ribs. Bring the hands to heart. Swing your arms out and up. And maybe out of back bend now. High crescent lunge. Now straighten the front leg and fold forward any amount. Coming into pyramid pose. Now place the hands on the mat, step back into down dog. You can stay in down dog or take a vinyasa with me by shifting into plank. Finding a back bend, I'm just going to flip my feet, lower my hips, and come into up dog. And then tuck the toes and return to down dog. Left leg back and up. Step it forward. Externally rotate that back leg, and remember warrior two is a real wide stance. So you may want to heel toe the right foot back a bit, then rise up. Hands to hips. Smooth the ribs. Scoop the tailbone a bit. Shoulders over hips. Arms out long. Take the gaze to the left fingers. Check out the knees. So my knee's starting to track in. That happens. That shouldn't happen. Keep that knee open. Tracking right down the center of the foot. Now flip the left palm, drop the right hand, and reach up. Peaceful warrior. I like a half bind here. As you come back up, straighten the front leg. Reach. Dropping into triangle. First, find the place where that hand wants to be. A block here on the inside or the outside of the ankle can be good. Now take the right hand down to the mat like you're pulling on a bowstring. Pull it, open up, and then play with your gaze. You look up, straight ahead, and then down at the foot. Bend the knee as you come back up into warrior two. Hands to hips. Pivot on that back foot until you come into a lunge again. Back knee might bend a bit. Hands to heart. Now lift your prayer and come into high crescent lunge. Straighten that front leg and fold forward into pyramid. Now I'm on the ball of my foot on the right, and that makes balance more difficult or challenging. You can always drop that heel in just like you would for warrior one if you need a little more stability. Frame the foot, step back into plank. Drop your knees, keep your big toes together, walk the knees wide, and sit back in a nice wide child's pose. Happy puppies, good here too. And again, 5 breaths. Exhale. Focus on letting go. The ability to release and let go is every bit as important as the contraction, as the work, as the action. Yin and yang, we need both. We need to be able to access both. And that comes with practice. And then pressing back into table. Tuck the toes, down dog. Step it forward. Arriving on an inhale, so we're going to lift halfway. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. Now exhale, drop the arms forward. Thumbs face up. We're going to imagine we have that bowstring again. And with my right hand, I'm going to pull that bowstring and bring myself into a twist. Open both arms. Notice the shoulder blades. The right shoulder blade is reaching towards the spine. The left shoulder blade is reaching away. Now drop the right hand down and face forward. Square everything. Let's take the second side. Left hand pulls the bowstring and opens up into a twist. Notice the shoulder blades and then see if you can exaggerate that movement, deepen into that movement. Now swing the left arm down. Hands are forward, hands come together, home to the heart. Now bring the big toes to touch, and you can keep the heels spaced just a bit. Find your mountain pose here. This is actually called Samastitihi. Keep the fingertips reaching down towards the ankles, thumbs face forward. I'm going to bend into the knees, and the movement is more in the hips than it is in the knees. Maybe peek down at those toes as you lower. And now swing the arms up by the ears. Tuck your tailbone, soften the ribs. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Maybe you sink a little lower. But again, it's not the knees that are pushing forward, it's the hips that are dropping back and down. Now bring hands to heart. Push the hands together. Let that drop your shoulders out of your ears. Lengthen on an inhale. On an exhale, we're going to take left elbow to the outside of the right knee, twisting into our chair pose. And maybe we can drop that left hand down, take the right hand down for the bowstring, and then pull it up. Breathe. Hands back to heart. Unwind. And let's take the second side. Long spine on an inhale. Exhale brings you to your twist. Push top hand into bottom. You can stay here or maybe open up. The right fingertips reach down. Take the left hand down for the bowstring. Pull it up. Let's see if you can feel the shoulder blades again. Now unwind, hands to heart. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Lift the sit bones. Come to table. And then find your way to a seated position. Let's bring the legs long into Dandasana. I'm going to keep my knees bent a little bit, and then my shoulders go up, back, and down. Hands come behind me, fingertips point forward, elbows are bent. Push down into the floor. Lift the ribs up and away from the pelvis as you sit forward on the sit bones. Feet are flexed. Arms up by the ears now. Inhale for a long spine. Exhale, moving at the hips. Spine stays neutral. And then place the hands. And once you get here, you can start inching the legs longer, keeping the awareness in the low back. Noticing the sensation in the hamstrings and the calf muscles, not in the low back. Keep the pelvis tilted forward. And if you've got your feet or your ankles, your shins, you can pull, and that will tip the pelvis forward. Take a couple breaths to melt into this. Inhale, rise up. Now bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the foot to the mat. And then like you're gonna step up onto that. So you're shifting upward. I'm gonna take my left elbow, wrap it around my right knee. Swing my right arm up, back, and down. And bring the heel of your hand, you might be able to see it here, close to your hip. So you're not leaning back. Keep the thigh close. Now pause here in this twist and focus on the shoulders again. Draw the right shoulder blade back towards the spine, and by pulling on your right knee with your left arm, you can pull the left shoulder blade forward. Now focus on the torso from the navel to the hips. See if you can twist that part to the left. So from the navel up, we're twisting to the right. From the navel down, we're twisting to the left. Unwind. Open this knee like the page of a book. Keep the left foot flexed. I'm going to tuck the right foot. You can either keep the sole of the foot along the thigh or tuck the foot. Now inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Again, moving at the hip, keeping the pelvis tilted forward. If your foot is under your thigh, I think there's a little added bonus there because now you've got space to press the left knee down. Breathe. Rise up. Take that right ankle on top of the left foot, left thigh. Reach back again. Shoulder blades both come towards the spine. Draw the left foot to the mat, coming into a seated number 4. And you can even reach out and thread the hands in front of the left shin and balance here. Unwind. Both legs long, forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, rise up. Let's take the second side, bend the left knee, plant that foot, and then like you're gonna stand on it. Right foot's flexed, right elbow wraps around the left thigh. Left hand up, back, and down. Keep the heel of the hand close to your hip. Feel the shoulder blades now. Left shoulder, open that left shoulder, drawing the left shoulder blade towards the spine, and then pull on the left knee. As you pull on the left knee with the right hand, right arm, you can pull that right shoulder blade forward. So one is adducting and one is abducting. Breathe. Check in on that low belly, below the navel, above the hips. See if you can reach that part of your torso towards the right. Everything else is moving left, including the gaze. Unwind, open the left knee, sole of the left foot beside of the thigh, or tuck the foot. Sit tall and fold forward. Breathe. And rising back up. Bend both knees. We need to do a number 4 here too, don't we? So come into your number 4. And maybe you find your balance. Notice if balance is easier on one side than the other. And now we can come into Baddha Konasana. So both feet together. I'm going to shift my hips forward, coming into this a little deeper. Pulling on the ankles, we'll tip the pelvis forward, open the chest, and then fold forward here, any amount. And then surrender to this one. Just let the head hang. Breathe. And rising up, cradle your knees. Let's come into a boat again. I'm going to move. So back to our Navasana, our boat pose. And then see if you can work your way slowly down to your back. And once you get here, arms out in the shape of a T, feet wide, knees bent. Plus windshield wiper the shins side to side. Now heel toe the feet in line with the hips and walk the heels closer to the sit bones. Bring the hands to the mat, arms alongside you. And before we lift into bridge, play a little bit with pelvic tilting. So as you inhale, the pelvis lifts, the low back lifts. So you have an arc in the back. You could take your hand under your back here. And then as you exhale, flatten the back, press the back down. Inhale. And exhale. One more of those each way. Now pause here in a neutral spine. Lift one shoulder at a time and tuck the shoulder blades. Feel the palms, feel the feet. As you inhale, push the knees away, lift the hips, push into the feet, push into the hands. Rise up to a comfortable position and then lift the head, tuck the chin, and lay the head back down so you make more room in the neck and the cervical spine. Now bend the elbows, let the palms face each other across your hips. Push into the arms, push into the elbows, and see if you can lift a little higher. Come up onto the balls of the feet and lift even higher. You can reach underneath you and lace the fingers. Keep the heels of the hands touching. Push the little finger edges of the hands down, maybe lifting a little higher. Release the arms. Take the hands to the hips, and as you descend, come down one vertebrae at a time from the top of the spine and start to tip the pelvis down towards the mat. So when you arrive, you come down onto a flat back. You're reaching with the tailbone. Heels come down last. And now do any last minute movements here you might need before we release into Shavasana. Let it all go. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to be active, that yang energy. Always doing. But can you simply be? Can you find yin? Releasing the tension, releasing the being, the doing, I guess. And just slip into being, just being. Sounds simple enough, huh? Let it go. Now begin to deepen your breath, nothing more. You can even bring the hands to the belly and the heart again. Feel the belly and the chest move under the hands as the breath deepens, and then start movement, fingers and toes. Good morning, stretch. Nice big inhale. And exhale, draw the knees to the chest. Maybe a little rock from elbow to elbow. Finding your way to your right side, resting your head on your arm. Blink a few times. And then rise up to a seated position. Back up and into the world, right? Well, it's good to be back. I hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you on Friday, 7 a.m. Have a great week. Let's inhale one more time together. Gather what you need. I think the rain might have stopped. Exhale. Draw the hands to the heart. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. See you Friday. Thanks for joining me.